Hello and welcome to Tech Deals, game performance review time, Battlefield 1. We're playing Battlefield today on two different graphics cards. The previous generation GeForce GTX 962GB graphics card, and then the brand new GeForce GTX 1063GB graphics card. The two specific cards are both from EVGA. The 2GB 960 is the super clocked, and the 3GB 1060 is the superclock card. We are playing these games today at Full HD or 1080p resolution, at ultra and high detail on both cards, and medium detail on the 960. GPU memory restrictions are turned off to allow the textures to run as high as possible. Both graphics cards are installed in the same computer, an Intel i5-6500 6th generation Skylake based computer with 16GB of DDR3 1600 MHz RAM and an Asus H170 Plus D3 motherboard. Fraps was used for the minimum, maximum, and average game performance numbers you will see at the end of this video, and the actual video that you are watching was recorded with Shadowplay, and the actual in-game footage you are watching is what the performance numbers were based on. Please note, Shadowplay reduces the overall frame rate by between 5 to 10%. So you can simply add 5 to 10% to the reported numbers in order to determine how fast this should run without Shadowplay recording. Please note, the reported frame rate numbers at the end of this video are with Shadowplay on. I have not adjusted them or changed them in any way from what Fraps recorded from the actual game performance. Each Fraps run was 5 minutes long, and of course the performance numbers will be at the end of this video. One final point, the green numbers in the upper left-hand corner are from MSI Afterburner. The very first line is the GPU chip itself. The first percentage is the amount of the GPU's power that's currently being used, then its temperature, then the percentage of fan speed, the actual reported RPM of the fan itself, and then the GPU's clock rate. The next line is the memory usage on the GPU itself, its speed, and then the total amount of memory allocated. We are running in DirectX 11. You can see the real-time frame rate on the third line. Below that is the CPU usage percentage, then the CPU temperature, and then below that the total system RAM that is currently being used. I am now going to turn the volume up so you can spend a few minutes looking at the gameplay from each of the cards. If you look in the upper right hand corner, you will see that it says GTX 960 1080p Ultra. In between each of the clips, it will fade to black, and then that title card will change to let you know what you're watching. After we go through ultra, high, and medium detail on the two cards, I will have numbers at the end of the video. I'll turn the sound up now. Enjoy.
Keep it together, lads.
We have taken objective Charlie.
Enemy objective is fallen. Now we occupy it. Grenade out! Watch it!
We are losing objective Charlie. We have taken objective Edward.
Good work!
We have taken objective
Captain
Butter.
objective! Good work!
We have lost objective George. A flame trooper kit is available near your location. We have lost objective Duff.
Wir haben ein Schiff verloren! Aufgepasst! Feindlicher Sanitäter!
We have taken objective apples. We have lost objective Freddy. We have lost objective Charlie.
Our objective has been captured by the enemy!
We have taken objective Edward.
Come on, lads, capture that objective! Ah!
are losing objective butter.
Ich werfe eine Granate, aufpassen!
We have lost objective butter. We have taken objective Duff. We have lost objective F. We have taken objective Freddy. We have lost objective Duff. We have taken objective Charlie. We have taken objective Duff.
That armored train is pretty cool. I hope you enjoyed watching the gameplay. Now how about we take a look at the results and see how well these two cards did. And here is our first set of results. 1080p Ultra Detail. It's the first two videos that I showed you. The GTX 962GB card averaged 48 frames per second with a minimum of 38 and a max of 59. Can you play it at that setting? Yes, but it's rough and choppy. I wouldn't recommend it. How about the 1060? Perfect butter smooth. There were no issues whatsoever. It's worth noting, again, Shadow Play takes 5 to 10% of the performance off, so you can add a little bit to these numbers. However, even when you add 5 to 10%, the 960 does not reach an average of 60 frames a second, and the minimum is still well below that. The 1060, however, when you add back 5 to 10%, exceeds 60 frames per second minimum at 1080p at Ultra Detail. What does this mean? If you have a 3GB 1060, set it to Ultra Detail, turn VSync on, and you will have smooth 60 frames per second gameplay, no issues. I further wish to point out that the average frame rate between these two cards is 75% difference. If you play games at Ultra Detail, the 1060 really is that much faster than a 960. Granted, it does have 1GB more VRAM than the 960, which probably does help a bit, but its core execution units are much faster. So if you are an Ultra Detail player, a 1060 or better should be in your future. How about high detail? At high detail, the 960 benefits more from the reduction in graphic quality than the 1060 does. The 960 average breaks 60 frames per second, and the minimum comes up quite a bit. When you add 5 to 10% to those numbers, it does become playable. I will tell you, I did try playing without Shadow Play on the 960 at high detail, and it was very playable. Not super silky smooth, it definitely had some frame rate dips, but it wasn't that bad. You can play with it at high detail if you want to. Then 1060, very, very nice. With 5 to 10% added to those numbers, if you have a 100 Hz refresh rate 1080p monitor, you should absolutely be able to average 100 frames a second. Not minimum, of course, that's going to require a 1070 or 1080, but it will be very, very nice. Look at the performance gap between the two cards. At ultra detail, it was 75%, but at high detail, it's only 44%. As the graphical demand drops, the lower performing card has more of a benefit from that than the higher performing card does. Interesting. What about medium detail? At medium detail, the minimum frame rate breaks 60 frames per second on the GTX 960. So if you're the kind of person who wants a silky smooth 60 frame per second performance with no dips and no problems, set Battlefield 1 to medium detail at 1080p on your GTX 960 and enjoy the game. Now, some of you are bound to ask, where are the 1060 numbers at medium detail? Short version, I didn't bother. I am firmly of the belief that you do not go out and buy a brand new $200 graphics card just to run your games at medium detail. You can do that on a 960. There's no need for a 1060 if you're happy with medium detail. So you can run at either high or ultra just fine on the 1060, but my recommendation is with a 960, run at medium detail. Here is a summary of all the performance numbers from this video. Note that I did not test the 6GB card in this video, but that will be in an upcoming test between the 3 and 6GB card where I run them at higher resolutions, 1440p and maybe even 4K. I will also test the 1060 against the AMD RX 470 and 480 cards, and I may even put the 1060 3GB card into a 5-year-old machine and see how well it performs compared to this brand new one. Thank you very much for watching. Like this video if you like it, don't if you don't. Remember to subscribe to my channel with the big huge red button right down there. Leave your questions and comments in the comment section below. And as always, support my channel. Look down in the link section below. Use something, buy something, and I would greatly, tremendously appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.